Oh, we keeps it real. Good morning to you. The birds are chirping.
Good
Good
morning.
morning. Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to Shop Talk with Mel. Let's get some things. Let's get the housekeeping out the way. If this is your first time, feel free to call in or text in live at 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. And if you are with the listening audience and you want to see our lovely faces this early Saturday morning, feel free to go to the YouTube page, and that is at Shop Talk with Mel. Again, the phone number here to call in and voice your opinion live is 619-902-2287. Let's get into it, AmberDee.
What's going on?
Me and my non-singing self, right? Be like, but I'm here. I am here. Yeah, so today I'm sipping on some tomato juice. Yeah. So before we went on live, before we had the open mic, AmberDee was like, "That's a lot of sodium." I'm like, "Listen, I'm on prednisone, so let's go with it. Get it all in."
Swell up like a grape. Okay.
Just go ahead and be the purple grape just float away.
Right.
What up, Nick? The voice in the building.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Look, everybody lovely. We made it another day, so let's bless God for that. All right, listen. Happy hour news. Listen. So I ordered this stuff, and I should know about ordering online. I keep ordering, and I'm going to it's an African ball, so they want you to have, African attire. I'm going in there like Afina Shakur, like, because I can't. I'm just going, I don't know, wear all black or something, because I bought this outfit and it was supposed to be a coat. It said a cardigan coat. That's what the description said. Cardigan coat, sweet. It looked thick. It was blue. Blue's my favorite color. Come down to the floor. Pop lips. I get this. Nick, did I send you the picture? Oh, God. Okay. So what comes in the mail is the same print all the way to the floor, but I look like Miss Roper.
Was it made in China?
Child, listen. So it's real thin, super duper thin, like swimsuit material. It looked like something I made at home ec. Now, y'all know how long ago that was, because they don't even do home ec no more. So, and it has like on the blue, you got the white stitch. And I said, who sold this? I felt bad about it. I was like, I want to send it back. But if it was a baby, I don't want to be like, your stuff is garbage. But it was whack. It looked like it should have been $10, but I spent $40 plus shipping and handling. So it was like $50 on this jacked up coat that's like a Mrs. Roper robe. For real talk. If y'all watch Three's Company, go check it out. Google Miss Roper and you'll see what I'm talking about. I said,
why didn't you just go to your cousin? Got a trunk full of stuff.
She didn't have what
okay.
She
okay.
What I was actually looking for. I just wanted something, know. I'm never gonna wear it again.
You should have told me a while ago, because all these African shops down here, I would have nicely overnighted something to you.
Well, thank you. But I didn't know a while ago.
When is it?
Tonight.
Never mind.
I ordered it off Amazon Prime. You got to go Prime if you want it on time. So it's like last minute, but I got it. So I went to the show last night, to the Arnaz J show. His opening act, amazing. Her name is Carmen B. Amazing. It was so freaking funny. So I'm sitting, boom, I'm up front, VIP section, and he said something that got to me. Touched my heart. It touched my heart. He was talking about when he went to a Chinese restaurant. You already know. He was like, he ordered this food. So when he ordered this food, he said, it's mighty funny. He said he only ordered 2 things and the bill was $55.
Mm.
And I'm like, I know what you're talking about. He said, but then they don't speak. He said he asked where does $55 come from? Then they don't speak English. So after that, they tell them $55. Then they speak English in money. I said, see, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. I told y'all. Tip, hold on. Wait a minute. Baby steps. Let's start here. And he felt bullied into his bill. So let me let you guys know. This was in Pittsburgh last night. Listen, he's going to be, and this is free promotion because I like that dude. I love him. He is hilarious. He'll be like during Thanksgiving time at the Improv in Cleveland. And that girl is going to be, well, that woman is going to be there with him. Man, that's a good show. I felt like my every penny was worth it. It was hilarious. And he did a long show, so it wasn't like 15 minutes, there you go. He did a complete set. And if you are in the comedy field, you know how hard that is. I'm not in the comedy field. I'm just on here shop talking. And Nick, you know, and AmberDee, now you know. It's like, okay, we got 2 hours of information that we got to put out there. Okay.
Right.
Let's get it going. Listen here. Did y'all know that menopause, now they trying to add that to like maternity, like maternity time off at work?
That's good.
They need to.
That is not right, y'all. That is not right.
Why?
Menopause. So if you have your cycle, okay, sorry guys, but I just got to keep it one. You on your period. Oh, we shouldn't go to work because we on our period. Oh, I have bad cramps. Oh, I have menopause. I'm sorry, I'm acting this way. I shouldn't go to work. Who fought for women's lib, even though it wasn't us? You know what I'm saying?
You ain't started going through menopause yet.
Well, I haven't, but I think it's good. I feel like it's different.
Yeah,
I feel like the difference between your cycle, your normal menstrual cycle, and then actual menopause.
Mel, have you started going through menopause yet?
You out here telling the listening audience how old I am.
I'm just saying, because guess what?
Okay.
That stuff ain't no joke. I'm here to tell you.
That's all well and good, but why should we, my company, why should I will go ahead and take the time off because you're dealing with menopause? Girl, put a fan, be like, I'll be back. Take your break. Instead of, smoke breaks, take your break. And you gotta do what you gotta do. This is too much. This is way too much for me. And we know there's a lot of
women, ain't no joke.
Women, listen here. I get it. I do. Women are running companies right now. So the company's supposed to go on pause because you on pause. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, listen. The phone number here is 619-902-2287. 619-902-2287. For the viewers, it's going across the bottom. Help me out here. This is not okay. So, and you have women who, okay, what about our butch women? And I'm using air quotes for the listening audience, butch. So they go through menopause, but okay, I'm a man. This is what I'm identifying as. I'm a man, but
studs. The studs. You mean studs? You call them butch, they be ready to fight. Studs.
What I tell you, studs was the acronym for?
You know what? Never mind.
Stop it.
So I agree with Clifton Harden, and I do feel like even if they are identifying, and this goes back to the whole transgender conversation, even if they are identifying as men or whatever, their gender, their biology remains unchanged. And so they are still having symptoms, and they can choose to hide it, as women for many, many decades throughout all of human history have hidden their menstrual and menopausal symptoms. Those studs or butch or whatever they choose to identify as, they're still having those symptoms, and it's a real medical thing. So I feel like,
everything is medical. You go, how many times have we been to work sick?
Every day.
I mean, you know what I mean? You just push through and you go. Now, if you're contagious, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I just think that, let that be on your time. This is your time. Let it be on your time. If you're going to sit there and you want to report off, use your sick time. Why should we have to give you your time? And I'm speaking from a small business. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even like larger corporations, it's like, okay, so here's a female, and then you know what's going to happen? It's going to be a time then they're going to be like, oh, equal opportunity. Well, it can't be equal opportunity if we're not going to treat everybody equal. And all the women got to be off, and we don't know when because, we don't know when they're going to have a hot flash. We don't know, and then they say that it affects your mood as well. Now, let me go ahead to the next hot topic. The Judge Pinky S. Carr out of Cleveland. Black judge. Did y'all hear about her?
I might have.
We talked about some people misusing their power.
Okay.
So when they misuse, use of power,
right?
And she was in there. She was sending people to jail for rolling their eyes. Man, I cannot. But you got to be respectful to the judge. Why would you go? You know what I mean? Why would you go on there thinking you like it's just way too much now? You go on there being all cocky. She was sitting, they busted jail. However, she had she practiced for over a decade, over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Had over 100 complaints alleged. Well, they didn't disbar her. They suspended her license indefinitely.
Ooh,
yes, Lord.
They might as well go ahead and disbar it in if it's indefinitely.
Is she fighting it or something?
Well, yeah, that's what she's blaming it on. Menopause. See, that's what I'm saying. So if I got to go to court, God forbid something crazy happen, and this is funny because yes, she is also known for wearing tank tops and wearing tank top. Yes, Clifton Harden. For the listening audience, you guys got to check this out. You'll see the comments up there on the YouTube channel at Shop Talk with Mel. Yeah, she used to go in there with shorts, tank tops, sweats, whatever up under her robe.
However, she ghetto, the ghetto judge.
However, let's get back to this. The menopause is the reason, and sleep deprivation. She has not deprivation. She has sleep apnea. Okay. Me too. But I don't know. Ain't nobody never told me. Maybe I have to ask somebody next to me. Ask my ex-husband, do I stop breathing at night? Like, come on, like, is the oxygen not going to my brain? I don't want to be the person in the courtroom and you didn't get good sleep last night, or you need a CPAP machine and you didn't get one. You know what I'm saying? Why should I have to be the butt of that? Or you going through menopause? I didn't do that. So you want to give that to me? That's not okay. They voted on her suspension. It was a 5-2 ruling. The Ohio Supreme Court did.
Oh, wow.
You lovely people. So they got it for misconduct, and they said this was from 2017 through 2020. Now, you remember how it was with COVID and everything. Now, this might work for some people. She was looking at the cases, wasn't even allowing the prosecutor to come in the building and ruling on cases up. They didn't show up. Boom, bye, see you. She was letting people free. Sips tomato juice.
She was letting, question, she was letting people free or she was letting her people free?
I don't know.
Meaning friends and family.
We ain't doing that, Nick. If she was letting
I'm just asking a question. I mean,
know.
Inquiry minds, the people want to know.
I know.
Is it everybody or was it her folks?
It probably was her folk or our folk or who knows whose folk. But here's the thing, and she was waiving fees. I can appreciate that, especially if it's some type of bogus thing or ticket or something like that. I can appreciate that, but it's unjust. You know what I mean? So that's what she ended up getting called out for, misconduct. 2 years. Here's the thing with the license suspension, and indefinitely, you'd be like, okay, you're done. Well, it's not really that bad because she can reapply in 2 years once she deals with her health issues. I'm not okay with the whole, I'm sorry, the whole menopause thing. Like, we should not have to deal with, what you got going through. What you going through, what you got going on at your house. That's like if it's an issue at the house and your child gave you, y'all was arguing early in the morning, child, listen, getting people on the bus or trying to take them to school, hurry up and get dressed. Y'all know how that is. Or waiting on somebody trying to get to where you going. And now you pissed off and you walk in the door and bam, you want to get that to me. Your child made you late today. Why you mad at me? Because you late. Go ahead, Amber. What you got?
Yeah, so I think okay. I mean, I think it's legitimate. I think the menopause thing is legitimate, but I also feel like it's a cop-out excuse distraction, like it's a legal technique, just as far as her defense, so she can remain a judge. And as far as your examples, that's exactly what I was going towards, which is that whole taking out your emotions and your circumstance on other people. It's not just with menopause. Menopause is just an example. It could be they have mental health issues, they're bipolar, they're going through a depression, they have anxiety, they suffer a death in the family, they're going through a divorce, whatever. People take out their emotions unfairly on other people all the time and for a multitude of reasons, not just menopause. So I don't think it's fair, especially for women, to isolate menopause. It's like, that's a crazy excuse, because people will project their feelings onto you all the time for all kinds of reasons. And that's why it is important for judges to be impartial and all that good stuff. So I feel like she was just like providing a reason, like, it was because of my CPAP machine, like
it didn't work last night, my power went out.
Right, so I was agitated. I think she was just grasping at straws, so I'm not gonna knock her for that. I would imagine that she's like fighting for her life right now, fighting for her career. And so, hey, girl, if you need to use menopause as a reason, I ain't gonna say nothing.
What you got, Nick?
What
you got, menopause, Nick?
Menopause make you want to pop somebody's head off for real. So I'm all for it. Like, because don't nobody want to be bothered with nobody going through menopause. When you get them hot flashes, you're going to want to strip down butt naked and stand in front of every freezer in the house and don't care who there. I'm telling you, that stuff is real.
Okay, well, take some sick time.
Right.
Take some
yeah. If they allow, if they got it, because these doggone jobs nowadays, they want to clump everything into PTO, vacation and sick, PTO. Whatever happened to vacation, personal, and sick time? No, everything is just PTO.
Okay, that's all well and good, but I'm sorry, I can't pay you because you period in it. Like, and
no period in it.
I'm gonna say that because you have people who have really, really bad cycles, real bad.
That's true.
Where they can't even function. So once you start with the menopause, then it's gonna go to that. What's next? It's going to be something else. Every time you turn around, it's going to be something else. Amber, do you want to read the comment?
Sure. So Clifton Harden of Facebook said, we all piss someone off at least once a month, yet most won't hold themselves accountable for losing control of emotions.
And I agree. I agree. Now, here's the thing. This woman, and you brought up a good point. This woman saying, oh, okay, well, it was menopause. It was this, that's her excuse. And all over, if you guys look, Google, it's about to be a thing. So the men, if they don't get none, they going to get some days off? Because
I feel like in another country, I can't remember, I think it was a European country, where they just passed a new law where I think it was on a federal level, they were approving maternity leave for mothers and fathers. So I think it might be this. I would imagine that it will be similar.
It is, because y'all remember who actually spearheaded that in this area. You remember Nick, right? Our own Rugal.
Yeah.
Remember? Wow, some years ago, he was like, "Wait a minute," because guess what? He was a single father, and it was like, okay, what about the dads and maternity?
Right.
Paternity leave. Yeah.
I thought, now that's amazing and that's fair. But this here menopause, that's a whole nother monster. Now, here's my thing. You said, yeah, it's a good excuse, blah, 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 blah. So what about Kanye? He doing things, and I'm being honest. I mean, I'm not one to give grace because I'm not God, but we do give him pass after pass in the name of mental health.
That to me is misogyny.
And I hate to bring him up, but I had to.
That to me, that's misogyny. I feel like he gets passes because he's a male.
You think so? Or because we feel sorry because his mother passed and like what? Go ahead, Nick the Voice. You got it. You got the floor.
Nick the Voice's opinion does not express the opinions of the staff of Shop Talk with Mel. He crazy. Period. Point blank. Kanye just done lost his mind. He crazy, and he ain't getting no passes here. Bye.
Okay.
Go on over there somewhere. He crazy. He needs to deal with his issues.
The fact that he even still has a platform and a voice, I think, is an example of the past, because other people with obvious or known mental health issues or who are going through a manic phase, they're ignored. We're like, we hope he gets some help. Shut it down. Be quiet, right? Instead, people are like, well, he's got some great points, and well, he's the truth, and it's just like, yeah, it's because he's, yeah. That's
how about they need to be on the bus too?
Yeah, he need to be on the short bus. Bye.
On the same bus.
Short bus. Short bus.
He was trying to buy
short bus, not a long one. Short bus.
That's gonna be a bunch of buses. Because it's a lot
of no comfort. They can't have no comfort. They got to be in the short bus with them little hard seats, and every bump you feel everything. The short bus. I'm telling you, because
Listen here, I got on the short bus because I wanted to see what it looked like. They don't have no seatbelts. They make a hard left. Girl, you over on the other bus or you on the floor. You know they got the little attachment where the wheelchairs go.
Listen,
right?
Okay.
It's not safe. It is not safe. But I just feel like when he had the White Lives Matter shirt and all that other stuff. And I'll say it again. Here's the thing. All lives matter. We get that. That's what they say. But let's be real. If all lives matter, there would not be a need for Black Lives Matter. Let's be realistic here. Okay. Now, when he went to George Floyd, I said, oh, no, homie. I said, now you done overstepped your boundaries there to say that he died from, and I'm not going to say what it was, a drug. And we actually saw it. These people were convicted. And you're going to put that out there. Why? Because everything's settled. Okay, come on.
Okay, and that his actions now.
Wait a minute. And then, once he does that, and it's like, okay, you're going to the white side, but here's the thing, there's no separation. We all are inclusive. I'm trying to be inclusive, but them people keep messing up my clothes. Them Chinese people. I'm trying to be, but they getting pretty aggressive. But we all inclusive. Why are you trying to put that separation? The dust has settled. They are convicted for their crime, and now you want to bring that up. You can't say that in the name of mental health. And that's what we continue to do with him. Oh, okay. His mom passed away. Oh, he's probably off his meds. Is that an excuse? No, it's not. I'm with Clifton Harden. Hold these people accountable. You're doing this and you've got the whole cancel culture, but not except Kanye because he got mental health issues. And AmberDee, you're right. It's a whole lot of people out there with mental health issues and they're being ignored.
And that's the problem.
And I hated to give him a platform, but I had to do that part because we talk about this here mental stuff. And it's like,
everybody that has endorsements with him, they're pulling out from him. Balenciaga just dropped him. Adidas dropped him. So yeah, he ain't getting no more passes. They tired of Kanye. They pulling out.
Oh, but why did they drop him? Because he said what he said about the Jews?
Ain't no telling. Telling. He out there.
Yeah. And
I believe that's it. Because here's the thing. Every other nationality sticks together except us.
Hello.
We're not doing it. But y'all
oh my God. Because Black people we have celebrities like Kanye and a lot of other ones who will sit here and talk out of pocket about the Black community or Black women or whatever, and there's no consequences. And we can just ferry that right into the Black femicide rate in America, which is down to less than every 5 hours a Black woman is being taken out in this country. Yeah, there's no consequences, and it's okay. So he can sit here, he can talk about the Black community, he can throw Black victims of police brutality under the bus, and there's no consequence. But him and Nick Cannon, oh, let them start talking crazy about the LGBT population. Let them start talking about crazy about the Jews who actually run stuff and who are in positions of power, who can terminate their contracts. Then it's like, oh no, actually, you won't be talking about us. You won't disparage our community, our culture, or our history. Excuse you. And it's a reflection of the fact that Black people are not in a position of power.
Why?
Because people
don't know. And I called and I'm answering that. We don't know how much power we hold. Why? Due to lack of self-esteem.
And crabs in the barrel mentality. You know, I always say that Black folks have crabs in the barrel mentality.
That's exactly lack of self-esteem, Nick. Right? It's exactly the same, because you don't know the power that you hold. We are kings and queens. We do matter. If we did stick together, he probably wouldn't be doing none of this stuff. And we are so forgiving. We talked about this on another show. We are so forgiving, not to say hold hate, because I'm not about hate at all. But let's be real. What's that song that he had talking about something, like when you make your mind turn around, leave you for a white girl? What's that song he had? I can't even think of it.
Gold digger.
Yeah. Yes. You did that, sir. I didn't forget. So I don't buy none of his stuff. And look, when he went over there, I was like, all right, I'm cool. Do I have a problem with Black dudes dating white chicks? I don't, because you date who you are around. What's in your, in your space. Be real. If you at the same school, who go with who at the same school, because that's who you're present with. Basketball, they be like, oh, every basketball player, all the Black ones, all the white ones there. Well, guess what? Some of us aren't at the games. So now, unless you happen to go to the corner store and you see an around the way girl, you're like, oh, okay, you bump into them. But who's in front of you? You know what I mean? Who's in your community? That you date who's in your community. I mean, real deal. But now you got social media, so everybody online dating a killer.
Listen, some of them is a perfect example of gold diggers. That's why they go into these events. Yeah.
Call me a gold digger, because I am.
No, I'm talking about the other side. They will.
You want if you want, and if you are accustomed to a certain way of living, you can't help it. And I'm accustomed.
Right. And I mean, I'm not knocking them. I don't think it has anything to do with them. I think it's like when as a community, if you think of the majority of like famous or wealthy Black people, they tend to when they acquire resources, whatever way they do, through celebrity, through athleticism, whatever, they take those resources out of the community. And like you said, it's rooted in self-esteem. They don't value Blackness. They don't value the Black community. They don't value Black history or Black culture. And so when they do have something to give, they go give it to somebody else. And not just as far as women, but just as a community. Like, resources is power, and being in control is power. And so we're not, as a community, and especially for our younger generation, we don't encourage our young people to attain positions of power or understand why you need to be in positions of power. I feel like on top of low self-esteem and not valuing our culture or our history, it's also like a lack of valuing education and a lack of valuing like understanding the community and, power structures and organizations. There has to be someone on top. There has to be a leader. Someone has to be, or a group of people have to be in control. And we've overly embraced the victim narrative and having a victim mentality. And so a lot of people feel like it's just easier to just completely separate themselves from Blackness, from the Black community. And so circling back to the low self-esteem, they view others and outsiders, particularly women, as an upgrade or superior to what they have from their own community. And it's like, it's just a negative, vicious circle when you have people coming from the Black community talking about, oh, it's ghetto, it's impoverished, you know, there's crime, there's all this, there's all that. Then they aspire to be something and they move up in life and acquire status, acquire wealth, acquire resources, and they go take all that to another community and then still be talking bad about the Black community. It's like, well, you ain't do nothing to help improve the community. You know, I feel like that's probably the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem as to why you know, we are where we are as a people. Because yeah, look at, like I said, Nick Cannon, and yeah, now Kanye West. There are certain demographics of people that no, you can't talk about. No, you can't make jokes about them because there's going to be consequences, and there are no consequences. The Black community is completely unprotected. So when you have the Black Lives Matter and talking about abolish the police, I'm like, y'all are crazy. You're delusional.
Okay, let me say this. And you said they don't get back to the Black community. Here's the issue. Look at it as an investment. As an investment. So if you don't invest in your own community, you want me to take my money and invest in it? You want me to take the chance? Like a gambler. If I know I'm a win, if I put everything on Black, and I know I'm a win, I'm gonna put everything over there. I don't know if I'm gonna take that chance. And I'm gonna be honest with you. If you don't like your own front yard and you want to litter in your own front yard, Nick, you know what I'm talking about. You want to throw trash in your own front yard. Why should I? Where's my funds going? I'm gonna tell you, prime example. You asked me for some money. I'm just using you as an example.
Have you asked him for money? I'm kidding.
She doesn't. Let's put that out there. She doesn't. You asked me for money. And I know how much money that I have. And it might be something minor like $20. You'll be like, can I borrow $20? I don't loan the family. I don't loan the people. I don't. I'm like, oh no, I don't loan money. Because when you loan it, guess what? Now I'm waiting for you to give it back. And now I have to sit here and wait for you to come up with an excuse over and over, wait for your life to get easy in order to get my money back. Your life never becomes easy. It's always an excuse. That's why you had to borrow. That's why I don't fool with that, but that's just me. If I see something over here and I'm like, bam, I'm more apt to give you $20 because it's an investment. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to give this person $20. Am I negating my community or my family? No, but I know you. And it's going to be boom, boom, boom. And if you need $20 from me today, you're getting $20 from this person, robbing Peter to pay Paul, cut the middleman. You know what I mean? Just cut the middleman like boom. You are better off asking me, can you give me $20? Or this is how we do it, because I'm a good one. And if I be like, hey, you want to buy this for $5? My community be like, nah, because of the product that I'm issuing. So I'm just saying like chocolate bars.
Okay.
Nah, I don't want to buy a chocolate bar. But if I go to you and I be like, let me get $5, you're more apt to give it to me. Tell me, Nick, true or false? I'll be like, hey, Nick, let me get $5. Bam. It's all in how you say it. If I say, Nick, let me borrow $5, you already went down your whole bill line in your mind. And you're like, I don't have it. Nick, let me borrow $20. Oh, I don't have it. Nick, let me get $20. Boom. You're willing to take that risk because it's unknown. So when you say like people take their money out of the Black community, that's not it. It's looking at what am I investing in? Everybody works hard. Everybody work hard. And if you decide you don't want to work for $10 or $8 an hour, but I'm willing to work for that, and you want to ask me for that, but they're not paying enough. So you like, I deal with nothing instead of getting $8 or $10. But you want to ask me for my little bit of $8 to $10 that I'm willing to work for to give to you. I ain't doing it. I'm out. I'm
Right.
like, it's that show, Sharks. I'm out. Sorry, I'm out.
Well, okay, so I think I want to
And
just
you know another thing
a little
though,
personal, but sounds a little bit personal, but just to get back on the conversation. I'm talking.
I want to hear what Nick got to say. Whatever, T. Penny. Go ahead,
I
Nick.
was just saying, like, another reason why a lot of times they don't want to invest in their own community, invest in Black communities is because when something goes wrong, especially if it's an injustice that was done to a Black person and everything, and we go to boycott and wanting to tear stuff up, what's the first thing Black folks do? Tear up their own community. So why should it's somebody invest, a Black person invest in their community when they know the first thing that's going to happen when Black people get upset because of an injustice is go and tear up our own community? That's crazy. Why are we tearing up our own community? Go tear up theirs. That's who did the injustice. Like, and it's always throughout history. The first thing the
Is
Black
it
folks
because
do,
we know that we'll go to jail and we'll go? Amber, did you want
but
to?
regardless, like that's exactly why they want to take their money to the other community, because we ain't tearing up their community, we tearing up our own. So, like, and it's crazy to me though.
Go ahead.
So okay, so I think so 2 parts here. I was talking about people who have, because what you're describing is someone who doesn't have the resources to invest in someone else. And so I'm talking about people or businesses that do have the resources to make investments, like Goldman Sachs. And the little huffabaloo that was in that situation. And then as far as the tearing up the community, that's something my mother always says, particularly with what was it, the Rodney King riots. She was just like, they tearing up the only grocery store in 10 miles. Like, what you stupid.
What's wrong with that?
But those are not the people that you would be investing in. And I think that circling back to that self-esteem, like Mel said, the reason why we can't go and tear up those as communities is because they're protected. Okay, you can't just walk into other communities. There's going to be, you're going to be stopped, you're going to be questioned, and then those community members are going to come together to protect what's theirs because they value what they have. And so I think the reason why there's this permeability in our community versus in other communities is because other communities actually have protection and value, and prioritize having protection.
Read this comment.
So Clifton Harden of Facebook said, how about all the Black billionaires? They don't even collaborate together.
Bam.
Well, and I want to say the
right
gentleman, he who paid the Morehouse graduates student loan debt, and I know Oprah Winfrey's done more than him, but as far as collaborating together, I feel like a part of being like the upper class or whatever of within the Black community is realizing that there is the wheat and the chaff. There is a separation. There's those that are going to get left behind. And I feel like part of the problem in the Black community is that we really believe we all got to go together. We're all not going together. Everybody's not going to get there. There is always going to be a section of the Black community that is going to remain lower class, but it doesn't have to be the majority or the bulk of the Black community. So, because I feel like Black people don't want to acknowledge that there's levels, there's strata. We've really embraced like the white supremacist ideology of like, the one drop rule, but that's a whole different conversation. And also that we're all the same. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire Black person or if you're a welfare strung out crackhead in the block, you're still Black. No, wrong. We're not the same. There's different levels. And I feel like the more we embrace that as a community, the more growth and prosperity we will see within the community. We are not all the same. We are on different levels. Mm-hmm. So no, I'm not the same as somebody that is making $20,000-$30,000 less than me or living in a different situation or has a different moral focus. All Black people, all skin folk and kinfolk, and we're not all the same. And it's okay to embrace that. There's a whole segment of Black people I don't claim. So it's just, it is what it is. I'm like, we ain't the same. I like you. So I feel like when we're talking about investments, we're pointing to the uninvestable as the reason to validate why Black people don't invest in the Black communities. Well, of course you wouldn't invest in those people. That's a bad investment. That's a bad strategy. But there is a section of Black people that are worthy of investing in and who are a good, safe option and will bring a return on your investment. So we're not the same. We're not talking about them. We're not talking about them folks.
And that's true. And that is true. And then you have somebody that you see who is trying. See, back to me and that again with people that don't want to do no work. Like,
oh Jesus.
But you do, like, if you see somebody trying, honestly, you know, you see it's like, okay, I see they're trying. All they need is this. All they need is just a little bit of help. They just need somebody to invest in them. But if you have a dream, I can't see your dream and you're acting on it, or you have a vision and you're acting on that vision, and I see you pounding the pavement, you doing it, you out here, you trying to network, you are doing everything that you can, and then you're stuck. And all you need is a few dollars to catch a flight to go over here and network with somebody else. I got you. But if you're going to sit there at the house, and I'm just using something minor, and be like, oh, okay, well, to Ben, it's going to cost me this much to get my stuff out there, but you don't even want to invest in even in your city, like, okay, let me buy some advertising time. Let me, you know what I mean? Let me vend that this event is going on. Oh, the vending tables is this much. I don't know how much I'm going to gain, so I might lose. But I'm going to tell you, even like with me, get out there. There's things that you probably need to do for free, especially if it's your passion. You don't mind working for free. And that's what you have to say. Okay, guess what? This is my passion. Am I okay if I don't get paid? If I'm okay with a situation and I don't get paid, this is my passion. This is my purpose, and I'm okay with it. So there's some things that you invest in self. Okay, boom. How much is it for a vending table? $50, $60, $70. Bam. How many people did I see? Oh, they don't get a lot of foot traffic. So what? I might, out of that 25 people that might be there and it wasn't 100, you had some personal time with somebody there that said, I believe in you. Let's do this. Come on, come with me, vend with me. And you can set all your stuff up at my table because I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? Take every opportunity. Take every opportunity to invest in self. And it doesn't have to be financial. Because time is something you can't get back. And I'm going to tell you, you learn something from somebody, that's everything. Okay? It'll be it. So don't give up on you. Look, I'm like, don't give up on you. That's what I got. Hey, listen, let's get on today's topic. We got a lovely guest today, a brave guest, a courageous guest. October is the month of domestic violence. I'll put these stats out there just in case some of you guys don't know. And these stats are from November. The new stats didn't come out yet. They'll be out next month. 69%. There's 69% of physical abuse that goes on in the house. So I'm just going to round it up to 70. So just think of 10 people. Every third person, 1, 2, 3, that's us. Nick, you getting beat. Every third person. How many people that are dealing with domestic violence? And it shouldn't just be, honestly, October. And I think they probably chose October. You got breast cancer awareness. You got women. We talk about the menopause thing. You know, there's like, this is it. But there are men out there that get abused as well. But we're going to focus on this situation. Since it is 69%, every third person, I wanted to bring a guest on because the question that I had, why do you stay? Why do you stay? There's a lot of women that are staying in situations that we, the outsiders looking in, are like, girl, bye, you better leave him. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do we stay? There's a guy out here. His La Truth. Are you guys familiar with La Truth?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, him and his wife got into it, and that just happened to happen this month. And it's out there where he alleged, I got to be careful here, allegedly beat her. And she's saying it and she's commenting back and forth, and he's saying what she did. And there are situations, and I am not watering down this situation, but I need you guys to be open minded, really open minded, 100%, where you'll have females who will put their hands on men and they respond. Is that domestic abuse? Yes, both ways. And then you also have where women have killed their mate because he didn't put his hands on her. Here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot poke the bear and tell the bear how mad to get. So please keep your hands to yourself. But I want to give it up to our brave, courageous, yes, she's going to go by the name of Patricia. We're going to keep her anonymous because she is still in that situation. So I would like for you guys to welcome our guest, Patricia.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, honey. Let's give our shop talk welcome.
All right.
Oh man, let's see here. Let's get this going here.
Man, y'all had a great show today.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying to get your name off, and I cannot get your name off.
All right.
Yeah, see if we can get that off. I'm trying to get it off and I cannot. Let me see here.
She might have to go out and
Ranger, are you able to pull your name off of there? Let me know.
She might have to go out and change it and then come back in.
Come back in. Okay, because I didn't even realize that. And I want to keep that there just to keep her safe. And then we'll get her going. Here we go. Yeah, let me see. I'm able to do it. I'm able to do it. Let's see here. See if I'm able to get that off there. How come I can't remove it? Oh, I know why. Look, there I go again, y'all. Not knowing how to trying to do it on the wrong computer. Look. All right, let's see if that works. All right, we're in business. There we go.
All right.
All right, good stuff. Okay. Why I stay is today's topic. Why do women stay in abusive relationships? I had a conversation with Patricia and I asked that question. I'm like, are you still with the individual? I'm going to set this up for you real quick. She is in a relationship, and it's been what, 20 years, almost 20 years, Patricia?
Yeah, little going into 21 since 2005.
2005. Would you like to share the abuse that you endure?
Well, first I got to start by saying that it's never as concrete as just being abused. Like you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to be abused 6 months or 6 weeks from now. Everything is cool and everything is beautiful until the first red flag. And you may ignore that like I did, and some women leave quickly. But I ignored many, many red flags. So
can you give some examples of the red flag?
He told me when we first met that he didn't drink, smoke, any of that, cuss, any of that. And I later found out about a month later that he did actually do all of that. So that was a red flag, especially his drunkenness at the time. That was a huge red flag. Again, I wait, let me go back because I want to make sure that I'm giving justice to domestic violence and where abuse comes from. Okay, because abuse is a whole thing. Abuse, the definition of abuse is to use something to bad effect or for a bad purpose,
Mm-hmm.
or to treat a person or animal with cruelty or violence, especially regularly or repeatedly.
Right.
Now, if you have been conditioned as a child up until you were an adult to receive it, say, I had gone through things since I was a child and grew up, even dating as a teenager, and then grew up. Now I'm still connecting with the same type of situation as an adult.
Right.
And that's because of the insecurities that I had. Now I'm trying to, because it's very important, because people think women stay because they don't have any capabilities, or ways to ways to get out. But if you're conditioned to be abused like this, how can you go forward if you don't believe in yourself to go forward? And I'm just talking about what I went through. I know women now that are still being abused after 40 years.
Okay.
After,
You know what, Patricia, let's fast forward a little bit, for the sake of the time that we have here. I know that you've left several times.
hmm
How was the treatment when you left? Did you go to shelters
I
or?
went I went to many shelters. Now that's a great question. Because when you leave the comfort of your own home, even though there's toxicity there, and you leave the home and you go to a shelter, you're not expecting to get bullied at the shelter. And that's 90% of the time my situation. I'm very quiet. I'm different, so I get really treated bad either by the resident, or like I've gotten bullied by a couple of staff members. But a lot of women, go there and they end up leaving because of a staff member and or a resident. And
Oh, wait,
that's not
wait, wait,
that's
wait, wait a minute. We got to go into this a little bit.
hmm
So the staff member, okay, so other residents, I mean, I get that, but it's not okay. Now let's talk about the people that's supposed to help you. So the people that are supposed to help you are bullying you.
yeah, remember y'all was talking about there should be equality in things like that on the last when you guys had the episode earlier. And there's no equality in abuse. You have, when you go to the shelter, it depends on who your case manager is, because some white women get treated way better than the blacks. They get whole houses and stuff. And then it depends on how many kids you have. See, I'm going in with no children. So prime example, the one chick that bullied me, I ended up leaving because she was just so mean and nasty to me, and I had left the abuse trying to get free from that, and I couldn't take it. So I ended up going back because I knew how to maneuver this dude, but I couldn't do it there. So, and that's ongoing every day. That's ongoing, not to mention the abuses of the money and the clothing and the things that they get from people donating. Is so many abuses in there. But the abuse is not held to just women in houses. It's in the workplace. It's at the grocery store with the girl with the attitude that's checking you out. You're being abused because you're just a customer. It's everywhere. And in our country now, it's even more prevalent than ever before.
Okay, let's stick to here because I believe we get abused. That's why I stopped going where I go and I don't get massages and stuff no more from them
Yep.
folks, them Asians, because you don't be making, you ain't about to take my money. But
Yeah.
that's personal. But we gonna leave that right. Let's. I want to stay focused on the physical, verbal, and emotional abuse that you know people, women, men are getting, and you leave your home from being abused, to go into another situation where you're being verbally abused there. So it sounds like just like what was going on with that Cleveland judge, abuse of power.
Yeah.
And when you said like the housing, or the stuff that they give you, there's a preference. Now, is there counseling when you go to those shelters?
Yeah, I have a specific counselor because I'm a believer. Some people don't believe the way I believe in Christ, and some people don't believe that way. So it depends on who you choose to counsel you, because there's no equality in any of it. That is why my thing, I'm praying that the Lord opens the door for me to have uh abuse a place for abused women to go that are colored, because it's very, very hard for us. And this is not a 15-minute conversation, because we have to go all the way to when you're a kid, because you learn certain behaviors from 0 to 5. And then, once you're a young preteen and teen, and so there were things that happened to him that caused him to be this way towards women.
Now, well, listen. Now, right there, pause. I hear that often. And
Mm-hmm.
I've had several women who were in abusive relationships. And you guys said the same thing regarding, it starts when you're younger. And I remember having 3 women on, and they were talking about how they were abused by their parents, the verbal abuse. And that was their depiction of love. So they end up picking men that went that direction. Now, you just said something that I also hear, where him and his upbringing. So are we making excuses as to why these people who are being abused
No,
are
that's why I said, Mel.
I just need a yes or no. Hold on one second for clarity for the listening audience.
Okay.
Is that an excuse or a pass as to why they get to treat you that way? Because
No.
okay, no. Now I want to go into why you went back, and I want to paraphrase this and let me know if I'm wrong. So you go to a shelter, and when you go to a shelter and you're abused there, you said that you went back because you knew how to deal with that
Yeah,
situation.
that was like 4 years ago. If you want to be caught up to speed, I just came back from Texas, and I left because of the abuse, and I moved to Texas with some friends. And while I was down there, one of the particular friends whose house it was wanted to have sex with me. And he wasn't making no qualms about that. So I ended up, coming back because you're exposed. Because if people think that you're used to being abused by this person, they think that they can do it, which is not true.
And
Which is not true.
that seems to be the consensus.
And
It
it's
does.
not true. So it happens quite often. Also, abuse, uh, to ask a woman who really, it's hard to ask it. Every woman has a difference in why they go back or why they stay. It's not the same thing for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
can't, just like blacks don't, like the young lady said. I feel her, because it's a lot of blacks who I just don't want to be around. I'm not like them. So it's a lot of women that are being abused, and men who are definitely not in the same box, but they are put in the same box because of what people perceive that they know about and concerning abuse. That's why it can't be book taught. You have to deal with people that know what they know, and know the solutions. What is the solution? The solution is a closer look at real life, the real life system of abuse, and not the book version. Real abused women working at the agency, stuff like that. But see, in our culture, abuse started in slavery. We can't leave that out. See, that is deeply rooted in us, and people leave it out. Incest, all that stuff has been swept under the carpet in the 50s, 60s, 70s. That stuff goes down into DNA and it transfers into the home. And so you got a mixed mashup of all these different emotions and abuses, and people are being connected to them. But because sometimes people are one-sided and they don't want to be connected to certain things, they ignore the important part, because you have to go way back to the Willie Lynch. And when they put us on the auction block and they sent mom to Virginia and they sent dad down to Texas, now the mom got to take you know. So this is deeply rooted it in abuse. It comes from a certain place and it attaches itself to us. And if you don't feel like you are secure and beautiful or smart and stuff like that, even though you may be 100%, an abuser can use their powers. I call them powers. They can use their powers to trick you and get you stuck. But see, now as I'm getting out of it, God is teaching me what I need to do for the next step, because it's the first time in my life in being with him that both my flesh and my spirit are in agreement. See, before my emotions were still connected to me, to him. Now I don't have any connections. I'm just waiting for the finances to go forward. And I have to work for that. I have to work for that. Nobody's going to give it to me. This is not a movie. And, it's a lot of broken women who, like I told you, Mel, I wasn't in the Cinderella ball and A5A material to certain people. But you always, even when we were kids and I was being abused by pretty girls in high school, you were one of the girls who I don't even know if you realized how pretty you was, because you didn't carry yourself like that. You treated me like I was the same as you. So that's where how I'm able to get through things from a kid up till now. So I know even though this man has did this, I would never take it into a new relationship. That's why I never talk about it moving forward, because even men, if you talk about it with a new man, they gon' use it against you too.
Now
So you have to be careful.
that's what
Yep.
I was going to add, because I do know some people who have been abused and they tell their new relationship what they went through.
Yep.
Then that guy who probably wasn't an abuser to another, in the past relationship and now is, it makes me wonder, like, did you do that because you could, or do
Yep.
you feel like, okay, well, I'm going to do it better, the competition. I'm
Yep.
gonna, what I mean? Well, she took it from this person, but she's not gonna take it from me. Well, you don't
Yep.
love me, and that's what
Yep.
you know what I'm saying. Where you have people who have him having low self-esteem and in competition with the ex at your expense, and that is not okay. Now, when you talked about where the beatings and everything derived from slavery, yes, we're clear, especially on the panel. We understand that. However, someone from another nationality or culture may not understand that and don't understand our fight when
Mm-hmm.
we say Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
When we say we are the injustices. It started that way. And
Can I say something, Mel?
yeah, one
And
second.
and
One
okay.
second, just pin that real quick. And what happens is it's like, okay, we've been fighting all of our lives. All of our ancestors been fighting all of their lives. And it's like enough is enough already. We are not accepting this. And for those who don't know, Patricia is an advocate for domestic violence and for women getting out, even though she's still in. Even though she's still in. Understand, I know you're like, okay, she's staying, she's telling people to get out, she's letting you know the things that can occur when you get out. This is so important, and I invited you on the show to talk about that, because we fear the unknown. And some people may not have a plan and like, okay, well, I'm gonna go here. This is my savior because commercially it looks grand. Come this way. This is how it's gonna be. We're gonna save you. And then you end up in another abusive situation. Just as Clifton said, it's just a vicious cycle. And you find yourself in another abusive relationship. And then you have, like, I have texts that are coming through that are like, well, she's still there. Why is
And can I please say
she? Yeah,
something, because this is very, very important.
go ahead.
If somebody really wants to help and save me, be like the people on Enough and Sleeping with the Enemy and give me the money to get out. Because,
Boom.
see,
There
it's
you go.
very, very hard. See, we can talk about community all we want. See, when God blessed me with the money, Mel, I intend on making it paramount to have enough money for an abused woman to get away and be able to take care of herself for at least a year. See, if you've been taken care of by a man, and you know you have this, I work, I have my own business, all of that stuff. But it's hard to go forward when you don't have enough. I never have enough. So now I'm living in codependency at its finest. And I don't like it. I don't like it. But if anybody listening want to shoot a couple thousand my way, then we'll be cooking with gas. And then now I can really be free. And then I can really help the women that I help. Because, see, they even think it's strange that I'm helping them and I'm still in it. Because, see, he don't know I'm talking like this. He don't know that I'm planning to get out for the last time. And that is how it must be. You cannot let them know or you will die. And that's for a man. And poor men get it worse. Because, see, they've been taught, don't hit that girl. I don't care what she do. Now the chicken head girl that's using and abusing them is beating on them. It goes both ways. But until we discover a panel and are able to work with each other with real abused people, not people that went to Morehouse or Harvard and they know the book stuff. Okay, that's not gonna save me when I gotta call 911 and act like I'm ordering a pizza. That's not gonna save me how smart you are and how many people you know. What if I don't know anybody? You know, most of these girls are still out here with these men because they can't afford a room for a couple of days just to get away. They can't afford to leave. And it's so, it just blows my mind that people make abused women look bad and make us feel bad because we can't leave. Help me leave.
Right. It's
help
not
help me
easy
leave
if
it.
you
It's
don't.
not that concrete, you know.
Right.
Oh, just pack your stuff and leave. Okay, now where the hell am I gonna go when
Right.
the shelters give you 30 days and they don't, baby, rushing you and everything, girl.
They rush
And
you.
not everybody has
Girl,
family members that are willing to help or that can help or
come
you
on.
know what I mean or will. So yeah, I trust me, honey, I understand where you coming from, and it's so easy for a person that's not in that situation to
Yeah,
flap their gums, but they're not
yeah.
willing to help. If you're not willing to help, then shut up.
And that's
Period.
the thing, baby. I'm not asking for a hand out. I'm asking for
Right.
a hand up. Now, see, let me tell you, Mel. One time I was in this one in I had left him and went to Indianapolis. Okay. And the place is called the Julian Center. Look it up. It's in Indianapolis, Indiana. And not only did I see the staff brutally taking the Christmas gifts that was giving them girls in there, they was doing horrible, horrible stuff to people. Okay. Now, I tried to stay there, but if you don't have money to go forward, they could pay your rent for 1 or 2 months. But if you don't have it to stay, then you're forced to have to go back into the situation because ain't no woman in their right mind in this area gonna even be with the man. It's very, very hard. I have, that's why I said this is more than just a 15-minute thing, because I'm leaving many things out. I took many notes for today. And I took so many notes, like y'all was talking about mental health, the abuse of women caused by men or women. There's a mental health issue there, whether they believe it or not. There is a mental health issue. And you can say that there was a mental health issue with me, because for many years I thought that it was my fault. Maybe I wasn't doing enough. Maybe I was, but I was making money. He's spending it and gambling it away, and all kinds of stuff was going on. So you can't just have this conversation and one little ram and fix it. It has to be with a group of people that can, come to some sort of terms on what we can do to help the women. Because see, now little girls have watched that, and if you see these teenagers, that's all they do is fight and cuss each other out, and they be tearing each other up
Uh-huh.
because they've seen it. Be this, and oh, I beat you down, and they think that is love, but I have never thought that was love, ever. I never thought that was love, because I learned from God what love was. So I know love is patient, love is kind, love is not puffed up, it doesn't take account of wrongs. I know what love is, but some people just don't have the concept of it. Their love is getting that bag. Get that money. That's love nowadays. Get that money. If you ain't got enough money for me, I can't love you. That's abuse. Girl, bye.
All of it is abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, when you were talking about, public abuse, that's real.
Yeah.
When you go certain places and people are treating you all types of crazy.
Yeah.
But when you are dealing with it at home,
It's very different.
and it's like, okay, so it's everywhere. It's
Everywhere.
everywhere. It's like, when is it ever going to stop?
It starts with La Casa. If you have 100 people that are on the same moral mindset, and everybody's getting along, there's no virus there. But if you throw one person that is not trying to heal and not trying, they're going to destroy everything. So it has to start with each individual. It has to. We can agree to disagree, and that's okay. But when you abuse is a whole nother entity itself, because it's very broad, the definition of it and how people use it. People abuse at the workplace and give themselves more time for work, or I don't know, people abuse stuff all day long. But in regards to living it, all I ask is that people don't be so hard on the women, because I've been made to feel like I was stupid and idiotic, but nobody ever, other than my family members, were realizing why and what would get me out. And now I'm at the place where I am prepared and ready, mentally, physically, emotionally, everything, to get out and never ever come back. It's even harder because I cried wolf so many times. And that's another thing. And that's where I would come in the cycle of abuse, to help women that want to get out, and they finally now want to get out, and they cry wolf so many times nobody wants to help them. And that's a horrible feeling, because a lot of women die like that.
Now, this is where I want to go. Thank you for setting that up, Patricia. When you say you cried wolf, I did receive a message that pretty much said that. And it said that she's saying, let me read it. She said that she needs finances to get out. How do I know if I invest? And then he put quotations, because we were talking about investing, that she won't go back.
Well, that's the thing. You know, um, if you jump if you jump in the water and it's an alligator in there, and you know an alligator can eat you more than a man, and you jump in that water and you get through the water and you finally get out of the water and you don't get eaten by the alligator, but there was an alligator in there, you get out, you're not ever going to jump in that water for fear of the alligator, right?
I guess. Look,
I'm
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 like,
trying to make sense because I'm talking to people that I think I have to make sense to,
mm-hmm.
because I'm not really, I didn't go to college.
That,
And I'm not saying, hold on, I'm not saying that's the
it doesn't
issue
matter
here.
about you going to college because
I'm just trying to explain something that your listeners, I'm trying to explain it to many people at one time in my mind.
go ahead.
This is different for me because for me, I've gotten bitten by that alligator. I ain't trying to get bit no more.
Okay.
I'm not trying to, I'm beautiful, I'm smart, I'm very talented. All I need is a hand up,
How
and
about
that's the thing. I want to help people that don't understand abuse. I'm more stronger than I ever have been. All I could do is prove with my life how I learned through that experience. You know what I'm saying? I only can prove with my freedom how I learned in that experience. Because see, now I'm waiting in faith on God to supply the means to lift, move glory, to lift me up out of there. And see, those comments like that before, Mel, they would have got to me and teared me up because nobody believes a battered woman. But I'm here to tell you today, whoever that was, if you were to make an investment in me and in my future, that would be a hand wrought miracle from God that I've been praying for.
I can barely hear you.
I just know that if I was blessed with a miracle and somebody trying to invest in my future, they would be pleased and proud of me. You know what I'm saying? That's all I know, what to say, because I'm waiting on God. So
Right.
if somebody did invest in me, that's God going through them to invest. So I'm not going to disappoint God or them.
Okay. Let me say this because I got to keep it 100, Patricia. The the viewers, we got all type of viewers here, and let's be fair. All and not, you don't have to, but let's just be fair and hear from every angle. So you have somebody that obviously we all work hard, and it's like, okay, yeah, I want to, but and it's that was a fair question,
Yeah, it was a super fair question.
and I want to you know give them that opportunity to say, hey, where is this going? They don't want to know, you know, what you're doing. They don't want to know an update. They want you to get out.
Yeah, I want to get out like yesterday.
Yeah. Now, let me say this: when you said, when you use the alligator analogy, and when I said, I guess, I want to be clear because I tried to go there with that analogy, and I was understanding how people do stay with that analogy that you gave. But my picture was, if you are in the water with an alligator and you're used to it, and that's where the abuse is coming from, and it's like, okay, I finally got to land, because I'm gonna use your alligator analogy. I got to land, but I know at 3 o'clock the alligator is at the other end of the river, so I'm safe here. Up here comes the alligator. Let me try to get out again. That's why I was like, I guess, because I was trying to get clear
Yeah.
how and why people stay. I lost my cousin to domestic violence. And I want to share this because I'm glad you came on, Patricia, for real. Because if somebody is going through something, her situation, rest in peace, Janine Thompson, her situation is, did she get out? She got out. And Nick, you said, like, and both of you guys are talking about a family member. She went to a family member's house. Her abuser found the address to the family member's house, and she got out, called the number. So they were doing their homework, all that homework, went out of town, had a gun, went to the family member's house and killed her and himself. So I appreciate you coming on. And for the persons who text that question, it's a hard thing. It's like, I'm on the outside looking in, and I'm not in it getting, actually physically and emotionally abused, but to see that happen and somebody say, okay, I'm getting out. And just like Patricia said, I cried wolf so many times. I wouldn't call that crying wolf because the intent was to get out. But
It
then
was. And that's the thing, I'm
you
tearing up because it's very, very hard. Because like I said earlier, abuse comes in, it's dealt in different hands, honey. And in the way I'm being abused, another woman may not be being
right.
abused that way, but I'm in my own little bubble. And like I said, if I had the finances to leave yesterday, I would be gone. I would be gone
And I believe
and never come back. And that's something that I never ever thought of. And that's the honest to goodness truth. And my champion, my me being a champion for women who are out already is important to me. It's almost like the next step is coming for me. So I'm just, like if I have to leave in the next couple of days just with the backpack on my back, that's what I feel like doing. I just lost somebody very important to me, and I'm stronger than ever. And my whole life is still ahead of me. I'll be 50 this coming year. And people don't just call me the Black Martha Stewart for nothing. It's in my DNA. I can sew and do all these things. And I before I got on today, he was very, very abusive this morning. And I just thought to myself, wow, the devil didn't want me to do the thing this morning, but I got strong and I went and picked up my sister, and I'm grateful to say that I did it, and this is just the first of many. To me, it's my coming out party of people hearing my voice, and then soon they will see my face and they will say, wow, she got through all of that, because I'm leaving out so much. I'm leaving out so many important things. But if there is anybody listening, you need help, call 1-800 domestic violence. It's 1-888 or in your local area, just call a domestic violence place. And if you have to walk around the corner or lie and say you have to go to the grocery store, you got to get eggs, that's your time when you can call who you have to call. Work on your exit plan. That's very, very important to have a safety plan in place. Give people your numbers. Give a person that you trust at work your number, and that you can kind of tell what's going on, but not everything. But also, just stay connected with people that are strong enough to make calls, because I never encourage anybody to involve anybody. I never encourage that, because
let's go there, Patricia. Let's go right there where you say you never encourage people to involve anyone. Why?
well, because you could be putting your family in
I
danger.
can't hear you.
You could be putting your family and friends in danger. No matter how strong your family and friends may seem to him, to get back at you, he could go after your family and friends. So you want to make sure that they are aware of, if he comes, don't let him in. I don't care if he's smiling or whatever, don't let him in. If he comes and you feel threatened, call the police immediately to have him removed. Because see, what they do is they they get angry at the fact that their narcissism didn't keep you, and the power that they held in your love is no more. Once you fall out of love with an abuser, they really, really get angry, because you can't hide that you don't love this person. You can't hide that. It doesn't last long. So I would encourage, people, if you have a family member that is being abused, pull them to the side, take them out to dinner, and don't tell nobody what you're doing. And talk to them and say, hey, I know you're going through this. I want to help. What do we have to do? Because you got to be careful, because sometimes people will try to be strong for you and try to be all up in your business and go and try to check the dude. And you like, wait, what? And now once they leave, now you're in worse problems for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't tell anybody except unless you can trust them, you know.
I'm glad you
Um,
brought that point up because you do have certain people that are like, oh, we about to go do A, B, and B.
yeah.
And it makes it worse for the victim.
Yeah. So
Amber
it's
D, did you have a question for Patricia? Or a statement, comment, anything like that?
No, I just agreed with her as far as like the psychological element and like going back to childhood, and then also not involving others because you are putting family or your friends at risk. It can be, even if you see someone who's in an abusive relationship, it's like we all have self-preservation. So it's like, well, if I'm gonna help this person, are they gonna give their abuser my address, or is their abuser gonna figure
hmm
out my address and then bring that
hmm
harm and that drama and that
hmm
conflict and that toxicity
hmm
to my doorstep?
right.
So I feel like, you know, while there are systems in place to help these women, if you really want to get out of that situation, you have to be willing to go do it by yourself on your own with no support, with no help, because that help could be not what you thought it was going to be, or end up making your situation worse.
Have
So,
you, can I ask you something? Have you ever been in a domestic violence shelter?
no.
Okay, wait. Have you ever been beaten up and dragged and and embarrassed in front of whole groups of people? And see, that's one thing, and I don't mean any disrespect when I say this. We have to be careful about saying what is going on in a system that we know nothing about. See, I know all about that system. And for a woman like me, they have not been kind. They have not been kind, and I'm not the only one. I can introduce you to many women that I talk to now. I got to talk to a young girl later who is, I'm trying to keep her at the one she's at so she won't go come close back to where the abuser is. And she doesn't want to stay because of what's going on in the shelter. They're feeding them old food. So it to say that, baby, that's kind of like, it's I take offense to it, and it's hurtful because if you haven't been there and eaten a week old food and old rigatoni, it's more than just one thing that keeps a woman where she's at. That's why I said, if you'd have to have 5 domestic women that have gone through domestic violence to get even a 1% of a scope of what it is, because it's many, many women that go through it.
And
Now,
see, these
also,
shelters that are supposed
wait,
to be
wait,
helping.
wait, 1 second, 1 second. I was on the employee end. I was an image counselor for battered women at a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
And there were things that I have brought in, and I enjoyed it. I actually loved that. And it was building up the self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, you physically you're removed, but mentally you're still stuck in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
So it was about building up the self-esteem of
Exactly.
women. Now I have brought things, and Patricia is not lying. I have brought things, brand new items,
Mm-hmm.
and saw staff wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
These
Christmas time,
shelters need to be.
Christmas time, and I'm gonna let you go, Nick. Christmas time, because there's families that come as well. It's almost like an underground railroad type thing.
Yep.
Bought stuff for the children. Where are these toys for these babies? You gave her one doll. I brought in 7 or 8. So you do have, and that's not everywhere. And it's not to say, okay, don't go, because that's not
Yeah.
what we're you're trying to say. But
Yeah.
those are things that can happen. And that's why I wanted Patricia to come on to share that, to let you know in advance. Because the situation, she's left several times and she told you she thought she was in a safe place and dude wanted to sleep with her. So it's like, I leave this, abusive
Yeah.
relationship for you to abuse me. Are you really here to help me? So I thank you I truly thank you for coming on and speaking the real. Nick, go ahead. You wanted to talk about the actual shelters? Go ahead.
Yeah, and are any women listening, I want to encourage everyone that is in that situation, dealing with staff and places like that. Start reaching out to your media, the news outlets. Put
Yep.
these places
That's
on
good.
blast
That's
and
good.
these staff members on blast. That's the
That's
only
good.
way you're going to be able to get that situation handled and for the right people to come along and run through that place and clean it up.
Watch
You
this.
can't
Watch
keep
this though, Nick.
bottling that
Watch this
because
though,
that
Nick.
is
Wait a minute, one
uh-huh.
second, Patricia. Go
I'm
ahead, Nick.
sorry. I'm sorry because I want to remind you. See, that's why I said I think everybody needs to just act like you abused. Go check it out for a couple days. Go in yourself. I dare you to go in yourself, because guess what they gonna tell you if you pull that phone out and start recording? Oh, we have confidentiality. You have to delete. You know how many times I tried to do that? I
Oh,
seen a fight in that very domestic violence place I was telling you about in Indianapolis, right? The girls was pulling each other hair out and everything, and you know what the staff was doing? They were laughing at them chicks. And that's when I called my sister and was like, I think I need to get out of here because this, what the heck?
I
So
mean,
if
it's not even about pulling your phone out. Just call and let, because they know that there's certain confidentiality and everything, but as long as you put that name out there and them staff members names out there and get the ball rolling, just like it needs to get to the right people. But you got to start even without the phone, because we got to go back to where we didn't have phones that with cameras and stuff like that. How did things get reported and resolved then? So we got to go back to those basics. But these places need to start being called out, because if you are in place to help someone and this is what's going on, that needs to be put in the forefront in the news. Call these places out, they names, they staff members names. I don't care that, because this is, and I understand this is why people don't want to go there, because of what happens. But then if nobody's opening their mouth to the right people to get
well,
them, it's I understand where you coming from. I haven't been in that, but see, listen,
and you can't expect
I
it.
get put out because I'd have to reach out and touch one of them
Exactly. Hold
staff
on.
members.
okay, because we can't talk over each other. Okay, go ahead, Patricia.
You sound really strong, but what if you dealing with somebody that's been weak their whole life and they don't know how to stand up, and they go into the shelter and they just left somebody bullying them, and then they go into the shelter and they getting bullied? See, the solution is to have a standard set. If you have a standard of abuse care for women set, ain't nobody, then everybody gonna try to match the standard. I have the solution for that, and God's gonna open the door like He is with this show, so that now we can put in place real solutions for women. And if there is anybody listening, do not let my experience taint you from wanting to leave or call the DV shelter. Please go. Do not, because it's not that experience at everyone that I went to. And I've been to many of them. And I believe that's part of my testimony for my future. But if you're listening and you have to get out. Do not stay. If you can get out, especially if you have children, get those children out the best way that you can. But if and then the story would change if you were talking to a woman with children, because that's a whole nother ball game. Because if you have 3 or 4 kids, There's a whole nother curriculum within these particular shelters that you have to follow. So it's not just so concrete. People, oh, you should just leave. And man, it's not that concrete. I wish that it was.
So
And you
it's
have
in,
different levels of blackness, like the young lady said. So you have different levels of treatment in blackness, also black by our own blacks.
okay. So Patricia, let me ask you this: is it the lesser of two evils? Is it the lesser of two evils, Patricia?
When you say that, what do you mean of?
Meaning, so you is it like, okay, well, I don't want to stay in this situation. I want to go here. So let me, where you're being abused from your
Yes, ma'am.
experience.
Yes.
So is it the lesser of two evils? It's like you pick which one is worse. I can't hear you.
I'm picking which one is the less worse.
Yes. Okay. So
Until I can find a way to go forward, I'm
right.
in the less worse position because I live in the attic. He has his own room, so I don't, I can maneuver and I'll leave and go or something like that until I find somewhere for me to go, because that's where it is right now. I think
Okay.
he's
Okay.
dating somebody else, you know what I'm saying? But
I,
I'm
I got
still being abused.
I got a question. I need you to pay attention to me because we got a live show, so I got to get these questions answered. So you guys are not in the same room anymore.
No.
Okay, that's good. And you did say you already disconnected from the love.
Yeah, but he's still connected in a way where, you know, he lost control, and that's all he wants back. He wants control. He doesn't the love is not there.
Okay, can I ask you this question? And this is a little personal. When you say he wants to control, so what type of and I hate to say symptoms, but I'm a nurse. What is he exhibiting, or what is he showing now where he's towards you, where he's trying to regain control? What type of actions?
For instance, if I'm on the phone, he has to know who's on the phone. Or
Okay.
he'll come and sit by me to hear who's on the phone. And when before I would tell him, oh, that was such and such. Now I don't talk to him at all hardly. So now he has to know. It's more to it than that. It's so much more to it. That's why I said it has to be a literal, more than one. Just it has to be a panel, actually.
Well, I get that part, but I'm talking about for the sake of the show, because I want to get the meat out so that people can actually understand and look for these type of actions to
Okay.
see it. That's why I was asking you. So now that he no longer has control, and you don't tell him what's going on or who's on the phone, what is he doing now? He's kind of like dealing with it, or is
Nah, he gets angry, and then he'll mention, I heard you on the phone and stuff like that, because I'm not talking, and he wants to know everything like before. And that's another thing that abused women do. They tell their mate everything because you're thinking that he really has your back, but they end up using that against you. But
now
I just
let me ask you this. Was that exhibited? Was he showing those signs at the beginning of the relationship?
no, no, no.
Okay, so it
He
just
did.
gradually came.
Yes, it gradually comes, but uh a person can only hide their real behavior for a certain amount of time. It
According to
depends
the
on the
book,
person.
look, according to the books, they say 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But we talked about that, and you can have, Patricia did bring this up, and I want to share this to the listening audience. This was yesterday, where you can read a book all day long, but until you experience it, you have no idea.
You don't.
You have
You don't.
no idea. And I wanted to talk about what you were saying when you shared about where you said you didn't go to college and you don't have it. Let me tell you something. People without college, without that piece of paper, everybody has something to offer, Patricia. Everybody. And it does not make you less smart, less intelligent. than somebody who got some paper or who graduated from Harvard or wherever they went.
Right.
And I'm going to tell you and the listening audience this: I am more apt to listen to someone who did not, and I'm using my air quotes too, who did not further their education. Just because you further your education does not mean that you are smarter.
So I only said that because the people that were abusing me were people with degrees. I know that I am smart and
Oh,
very crafty.
oh,
I know
oh.
that I'm a wonderful dope chick. I don't need anybody to tell me that. But there have been blacks who have been more well to do and who have more degrees, who have thought they knew my circumstance, and they downplayed me and ridiculed
Mhm.
me because of it. So that's not coming from me. See,
Oh,
I didn't
oh,
get
I
the
get
feel
it. I
that
get
didn't
it.
Oh, you can have
that's
all the books
coming.
in the world, but no common sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I was looking at a comment. I got to go to this comment. I got to go to this comment here. Um, AmberDee, would you read the comment, please?
So Clifton Harden from Facebook said, "Thank you. Dot dot dot. Ran a $7 million biz with a high school diploma."
There you go. So, and I just have to put that out there for my listening audience and not just for this topic.
Yeah, because
Every
you can. I
person,
believe
wait,
that
wait,
what's coming for me is really, really. I'm definitely able to deal with the increase that's about to come because there was a lot of long suffering. Because it's not just like he just lost his mother. Like there's attachments with this thing. There's not just this man in the abuse. There is his family. There's
Mm,
particular family members that were also
mm,
abusing me because they saw him doing it.
mm,
So,
mm.
once I lose this connection with him, everybody going.
I heard that. So
So
that
it's
goes
not,
back.
Exactly.
it's more, it's
Hold on
more
one
to it.
second, Patricia. That goes back to when you leave, you divorce the whole family. You remember that topic, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Uh
When we
huh.
when we were talking, like, boom, everybody goes. And when you're in a bad situation, you have to do what's best for you. I have noticed, and we've done these shows, and you guys know we've done these shows over and over again, that the just as Patricia said, for the listening audience, if you have a family member, if you know somebody's going through something, if you witness where the sister, the cousins, and all them talking sideways and reckless to that individual, look into it a little more. When we know about the isolation, we know about the isolation that occurs at the beginning of a relationship. And you be like, okay, what's really going on here? Stay in contact. Don't allow them to isolate themselves. Be that nagging cousin. Let them be upset. Let them. I've seen it happen over and over again. I also want to say rest in peace to Ambia Mickens, young girl. Domestic abuse, gone, no longer here. No longer here. Was killed on her mother's birthday. These things are real. And if you do see a sign, you do see that red flag, just as Patricia said at the beginning, it was a bunch of red flags. And we don't have that time because this is, our segment was like 15, 20 minutes and we went over. But we have to talk about this thing. We definitely have to talk about this thing. And if you see it, say something. Let them be able to talk to you. And also, I noticed when Nick, you were talking, and you were saying what need to be done, and boom, 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 where Patricia saw that. Everybody, you can't have that big bad, and nothing against you, Nick, at all. I'm not saying that, but we have different personalities, and that's what she was sharing when she said, you don't go in with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you go in mild mannered. You're like, okay, I'm here for help. And most people that are there for help, and I saw it and I witnessed it, most people that are there for help, those people are looking to you for guidance, not for you to abuse them. So for those people who run those agencies, and if you're there for help, understand this: if you're not going to help, quit your job, man.
That's
Quit.
all I'm saying. Quit the job,
Oh,
but
right.
somebody needs to pull them out.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to put the
But,
call them out.
watch this. But watch this, Nick. And I hear you. And that would be us. And that's why we did this show. Let's start micromanaging. If you have a domestic, a DV, DV housing, or housing for battered women, if you have that, post those numbers on the wall where they can go up the chain of command. Allow the residents there to be able to contact you. That's why I wanted to do this show. Because when she said that she was getting abused there, I said, oh no, you got to come on. Explain to the people why you stay. Because those who want to invest, just like that person that actually called in with the text. You want to invest? I feel you. And that was a legitimate question. But these are the reasons why people stay. Why people stay. If you want to invest in one, like the Sojourner House. I love the Sojourner House. You know what I mean? I love Audrey.
Them, yeah,
I do. I love Audrey. And if you want to invest, you can donate to them or, someone personal. But like, here, what do you need? And I love the fact that Patricia said, they don't like to involve the family. They don't like to involve the family. That's important. So if you have a question or you would like to text and call in live, please call in at 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. Call.
So
Wait
yeah.
1 second. I got to do this. Like I have to finish this before I go ahead and let her go. And for those who, I'm going to put the crisis hotline here because people are going through and people are giving up. I don't want you to give up on anybody. I don't want you to give up on anybody. So I have that there, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. If you have an issue, 24/7, you can text 988. Call, reach out, help somebody. We're going to go ahead and get Patricia back on to see if there's any last words. Patricia, you have any last words before we end the show?
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that anybody listening that works for domestic violence or maybe need to go there, it's some brilliant, loving, compassionate, empathetic women that work in and through domestic violence. So don't let my story and what happened to me deter you from going there, because I know for a fact Sojourner House is dope. Other places are really dope. There's a few places in Akron, Alliance, Canton, Cleveland, all really good places. Just try to gain strength, just try to gain strength from every lesson that you learn, whether it's good or bad, because that's what I did. And that's what made me strong. Like, my sister is like Nikia and the other young lady, AmberDee, strong, really strong. I could tell their spirits are strong. When I was little, I never was like that. I was very quiet spoken and stuff like that. And now I can now walk in the way of Nikia and AmberDee and my sister and Mel, because I'm now learning that. But that's a learned process. If you've been abused for so long, you have to learn to walk in strength. It's almost like learning how to walk. And so I encourage people today to learn how to walk. It's not going to be easy. You're going to fall. You got to get back up. But you learn how to walk. And I thank you, Mel, for this. This meant the world to me, because this is my coming out party. And I hope to have you all in the midst of my realm when it's time, and you come on my panel and talk and stuff, and just continue to do what you guys do. It's a scripture that says, grow not weary in well doing, because in due season you will reap a harvest. That's very important for what y'all doing, because it's not a lot of us out there spitting the real. So love you. Thank you. And my sister said hi, Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hey, girl.
Good show, baby. I've been listening this whole time. It's been a very good show. I applaud you. I love you. And be cool.
Y'all be cool. And listen, if you want to listen to the show, you can go to the YouTube page. It's at Shop Talk with Mel, and it will be up there and on your favorite podcast. You can listen to this show over and over, share. I'll tell anybody, share. If you feel as though the show will help someone, share. Thank you so much, Patricia. And
You're welcome.
I appreciate you. All right. That was deep. How you ladies feel?
It brings back some memories.
Does it? Okay.
I grew up watching until a certain age when it took my mother's father, my grandfather, to come up to our house with a double barrel shotgun and put it in my dad's face for my dad to calm down. And then with my first marriage, I went through that. So that is why Nick the Voice is the way Nick the Voice is now. I grew up not really bullied, but quiet, mild mannered, been over backwards for people and got taken advantage of.
Okay. And you heard her say, she said, now I can be that person. And she said she actually vouched for what you're talking about. So you become the way you are because of the way people treated you, and you were like, no more.
Yep.
Very good. Very good. So y'all know why Nick the Voice is Nick the Voice now. She just sat there told y'all, like, I ain't pulling no punches. I ain't worried about your feelings. This
right.
is gonna be.
Because nobody ever worried about mine. So it is what it is now. And I know Rugal hates that. It is what it is. He probably listening like I'm about to choke her when I see her. But now people can kind of understand why I have no filter or why, because it was just like something just snapped in me. I grew up watching that. And then, my grandfather had to put it to my dad, listen, you have a daughter. How are you going to feel when she comes of age and this happens? And the cycle came around and my dad had to come to my first husband.
Okay.
Not once, but twice.
Okay.
And threatened his life about me. And he fully understood because my grandfather said, I tried to stay out of your marriage because that's your marriage. You married to my daughter, yes. And I tried to stay out of it. But I'm not going to let you keep putting your hands on my child. And it came around and my father had to give that same speech not once but twice to my first husband. So now everyone can understand why. And like growing up in school, all the pretty girls want to, I don't know what it was, all through I had, in high school, all of a sudden I had to start fighting because everybody wanted to threaten me about whatever. And so now people can kind of understand why my attitude and why I'm strong-willed now, because of what I grew up watching and what I had to endure until I decided to say enough is enough. And yeah, I will swing on somebody in a minute now, and that is why. I mean, it shouldn't be that, and I shouldn't go there.
Out of jail.
That's what everybody tell me. We ain't got no bail money.
That's the that, Nick.
I know a lot of people, but yeah, I've had to just, even with this one here, just one day I just had to snap and was like, listen, this is why I came into this marriage being calm, but you wanted to take it because I told you what I endured with the first one, so you just want to take that and run with it. Nah, bro, we gonna fight, and I'm gonna fight you like I'm a dude. No more problems after that.
You totally understood, what she was going through. I can appreciate
exactly.
That. And we on the panel here, with the co-hosts are very empathetic, and we do have to ask those hard questions where we may come off as insensitive, and that's not the case. But let's be
right.
We got to be real. On Shop Talk with Mel, we are real. These questions are real. I appreciate the questions, from the callers and the text, and that was a legitimate question. And yes, we empathize, but you want to know, is this going to work this time? Is this a scam? And here's the thing. I know personally that it's not, but you
right.
don't know.
But the person that don't know, wouldn't know, right?
And when you are everywhere, you know what I'm saying? When you are everywhere and different people listening, and it's like, just like that person, like, yeah, well, I know them, they live across the street, or we go to the same church or something like that. But there's somebody listening that have no idea who you are. And they have the right to ask those questions. They have the right to ask those questions, even with Amber. And here's the thing: we can listen to you, and Amber's views are her views, my views are my views, Nick's views are her views, and we have to be all inclusive in this case. Y'all already know where I'm about to go. No, I'm not. In this,
I had to say something to
everybody,
a young man last year, because I witnessed that with teenagers. It's as far back as teenagers. I had stopped at a store in Boardman, and there were a bunch of teenagers together, and I'm walking in the store, and they were walking down to the sidewalk to another store, and this young man was cussing out the girl, saying stuff, and was like grabbing her, and I was like, hey, and they all turned around and looked at me. I said, put your hands on her again, I'm gonna whoop yo. And then you can call your mama and I'll call the police. I said, you better not ever in your life. I said, look, young lady, don't let anybody talk to you crazy, let alone put their hands on you if they're not your parents. I was like, let me see it again, and I'm gonna whoop your tail like you belong to me.
And guess what?
They all looked at me like.
And that was a lesson. Because guess what? Somebody probably never said that. And what's happening is we're going in our houses and closing our doors. That's what's happening right now. It's like, okay, well, that's not my business. I'm just going to mind my own.
Right,
business.
exactly.
And the old saying of what goes on in this house stays in this house is coming out now. It's coming out.
Right.
What we have to do as a community is stop closing our doors to what's going on outside, because eventually it is going to affect us, the neighbors.
And you see, it started young, know, and they all looked at me like, and I'm hoping that young lady, I was like, you don't have to take that. I'm hoping that young lady takes that, because if nobody had said anything, it'll get to the point where when she's our age, she's going to keep going to relationships like that. Not around me, not on my watch.
Right. All right, lovely people. I thoroughly enjoyed you. Y'all already know. Today's footnote comes from a viewer and listener, longtime listener, Clifton Harden. We talked about domestic abuse, and I shared at the beginning of the show, it's Domestic Violence Month, October, and 69%, believe it, 69%, every third person is being abused. That's according to the stats from November of 2021. That's crazy. That is crazy. So here is today's footnote. Abuse doesn't erase the love. That's from Clifton Harden. I appreciate that comment. You guys keep listening to the show. I love you guys for listening. Y'all already know time is something we can't get back. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. What is it, Nick?
Shut up!
All right, AmberDee, if you would like to donate to the show, you can do so with the Cash App at Shop Talk with Mail, Cash App and PayPal, Shop Talk with Mail. We take $1, we take $2, we take pennies, we take whatever it is that you deem necessary. All right, so we can keep this program going. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, y'all. Peace. One more time. What did I say? Find you.
Embrace you.
And
most importantly, always
be you. Love you.
I was going to say love you. Love you. Love you, be you, whatever.
Yeah, it's okay to be you.